What's up, Assassins, and welcome to The Rundown. This is the bi-weekly news show where I recap some of the hottest news in gaming and anime from the past week or so that I feel is worth talking about. While maybe even dropping some hot takes on them once in a while, but not too hot because there's enough drama out there already. We're in the dead of summer, so the news has hit a bit of a lull with everyone taking vacations and industries revving up content for the new year. But even with that, we still have a few odds and ends trickling out. So let's get into it, shall we? This week, Capcom laid out plans for their backlog of memorable IPs through their latest financial report. They responded to an investor question about whether or not they would continue with projects like the RE2 remake should it become a success. Turns out Capcom is quite optimistic that RE2 will see million-seller success. Here's to hoping they're not too optimistic when it comes to sales expectations. RE6 anyone? My reaction to this news was one of excitement, but then I started to think about what else they could remaster for their catalog that people would recognize, and it turns out, not a lot. But I won't pretend to not at least want a Dino Crisis remake. At least. When the news hit that EA would be putting the Mass Effect franchise on the shelf for a little while, it was felt far and wide across the gaming community. And while Mass Effect Andromeda was certainly not a critical success, it stands the question of what its commercial success was like. Even with the negative feedback given about the game, it's clear that fans still want them to give it another shot. Turns out, those cries were heard loud and clear, as one Casey Hudson from Bioware made it clear that the team certainly has some secret stuff that they're working on for both Mass Effect and Dragon Age. Now, it was already known that a new Dragon Age is in development, and chances are we won't be seeing anything about that until after Anthem is released. But the secret Mass Effect, whatever it might be, should it be a new game, we probably won't be seeing anything about that until after Dragon Age. It might just be in the planning phase right now, but as a Mass Effect fan, I'm curious to see what this secret project might be, but I am a little conflicted of whether or not I even want a new game at this point. E3 2018 left many people wondering just where the hell was the Final Fantasy VII Remake, after the fine folks at Square Enix led many to believe the game would be there, only to pull a no-show. It's been a topic of debate on whether or not the game would feature the classic turn-based combat of the original game or moved on to a more modern action game take after gameplay footage showed a very different game than what purists remember. The game was also taken from its external developer, CyberConnect 2, and moved in-house at Square Enix, leaving fans to wonder just what is going on with the development of the game. But this week, concern has been further accentuated with a recent job listing that describes the game as an action game. So I think it stands to question just what the hell the game is supposed to be. Honestly, I feel as if action game is getting taken a little bit too literally, as I'm sure the RPG aspect of the game is still in play. The only gameplay footage they showed years ago gave me a very Kingdom Hearts vibe from it. So my guess is probably going to play just like that, an action RPG, especially given Nomura's recent history with his RPGs jumping into real-time combat with Final Fantasy XV. In the world of anime, this week it was confirmed that Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans would be seeing a continuation to the popular anime series. This was confirmed by the anime's official Twitter account, teased with a static image to give fans something to get excited for. The anime already has 2 seasons available on streaming services in both English and Japanese dubs, as well as subs for those that have a preference. Worth checking out if you're a fan of giant robots and dramatic stories that borderlines on morbidly depressing at times. Last year, the announcement that the 4th film in the Evangelion Rebuild series was finally in production certainly turned heads, but the question about the film's release date was still up in the air. The film's director, Hideaki Anno, revealed the reason for the delay, which was due to production struggles and his work on the Shin Godzilla film in 2016. Late last month, it was finally announced that the film is under the name Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 and that it'll finally hit Japanese theaters sometime in 2020. A year in which I still have a hard time taking seriously when I say out loud. This isn't the first time a year was given for the 4th film, considering its previous promised release date was 2015. But this one appears to be a bit more believable considering the time and production costs that go into making these films. I gotta say, that title is bordering on the crazy numbering conventions of the Kingdom Hearts series. And that brings us to the end of this week's rundown. News around this time is at a bit of an all-time low, which can be seen as a good thing in a sense, that nothing dramatically bad is happening in these industries thus far. And with the summer in full swing, everyone is trying to focus on some much needed rest and relaxation. With that said, I hope you guys enjoy this experimental feature, as I'm hoping to continue this in the near future. Feel free to leave a like to let me know you enjoyed it, and subscribe and hit the bell icon to see more and get updated on new content. As always, this is Corrupt Ronin telling you to stay sharp, assassins, and I'll see you next time.